Good morning to you all and welcome to Mountain Vista. We welcome those of you who are here with us physically, and we welcome those of you who are attending virtually. Wherever you are, whoever you are welcome here. We are better and stronger together. Now you may be looking up here noticing things look a little different this Sunday. You might be wondering, why is this lady up in her pajamas? And what are these kiddos doing in our sanctuary? Well, I'm happy to answer those questions. I am Stacy, your religious educator, and this is our first multi-generational service with Reverend Matthew. Yay. So right now I would like to invite anyone, and I mean anyone, don't be shy, we have plenty of space up here, to come down in the front and rest with us and get comfy because today is all about resting. But before we get any further into our service, I would like to acknowledge and thank everyone who has put so much love, time, and energy into making our services great. Of course, we have our minister, Reverend Matthew, and our guest speaker today, Jay Deskins from Interfaith Community Services. My right hand today, Miss Robin. We have Chris tickling the keys on our piano. We have our AV team pretty much working everything here that plugs in. Our Zoom host, Susan, our greeters, our hospitality, our religious exploration team, and all the rest of you. Whew, it takes a village. And to all of us joining here today, thank you. All of you make this possible. As I mentioned earlier, today's service is all about rest. Resting is so important, but one that I struggle with daily. Between taking care of my kids, myself, my partner, the house, the errands, my job, so many things, I forget to take a minute to just breathe. Well, this is that moment. If you could join me right now in taking a deep breath together. Resting is a way for us to take care of ourselves so that we are open and ready to greet the day. I think Reverend Heather Starr said it best. May whatever gatherings or activities we engage in this Sunday, let it help restore us, our connections to one another, our sense of hope, beauty, and fun in this world, our deep knowing that we have to take care of ourselves and each other with love and joy if we are to solely survive this world's mayhem. So let's get into a little mayhem ourselves, shall we? Starting with our chalice lighting. It is titled, In the Holy Quiet of This Hour by Reverend Richard Gilbert. In the holy quiet of this hour, this is sacred time that cannot be taken from us. These few instances of calm in an ocean of events, this peaceful interlude in the midst of a warring world.
We sit together, a company of believers in life. If we are still, we can hear a great communal breathing, the heaving of 100 chests casting off their burdens, the inhalation by fellow worshipers who seek the inspiration of this time and of this place and of this people.
We sense renewal pulsing through our very being. We sit here to receive the blessings of life, the memories that drift across our minds, the hopes harbored in these few moments, the dreams we dare to conjure in the magic of this time.
Our bodies, tense with the wounds of the world, relax, and we know how much we need this time of quietude. Our minds, burdened with care and concerns, are cleansed and cleared by what we do in this hour. Our spirits soar with the meaning of this moment, above all moments, the time of being when there is nothing we must do.
May we take the time, here and now, to celebrate moments like these. May we savor this intermission from the cares of our lives. May we be renewed for the living of these days and all the days to come.
All of this we seek in the holy quiet of this hour.
This helps. I'd like to invite you all now to rise as you're willing and able as we sing hymn number 409, Sleep, My Child. The words will be up for you on the screen. attend you all through the night. Just kidding. Sleep, my child, and peace attend you all through the night. I who love you shall be near you all through the night. Soft the drowsy hours are creeping, ill and well in slumber sleeping. I'm my loving angel, keep you all through the night. Mother, I can feel you near me all through the night. Father, I know you can hear me all through the night. And when I am your age nearly, still I will remember clearly how you sang and held me dearly all through the night. While the moon her watch is keeping all through the night. While one half the world is sleeping all through the night. Even while the sun comes stealing, visions of the day revealing, breeze of pure and holy feeling all through the night.
Yes, please be seated.
Our Unitarian Universalist faith teaches us to pray with our senses, attentive and aware, and through our hands and our whole bodies, often in action but also at rest. And so I invite you, seeing and hearing, sensing and feeling, to a prayer of gathering in rest. Here in this community of communities, gathering as we have to hold one another, not in silence, but in a gentle pause. And so I invite you to a prayer of pausing, because there is no stopping the flow of our lives, and yet within our action and activity, there is a place we gather to seek in wonder and in joy. And so I invite you to a prayer of wonder and joy at this moment, in this community. Body, mind, heart, spirit. And to accompany our prayer, there is some imagery of our Sonoran desert. Let us pray. quiet of our holy gathering, made holy by our presence to one another, to our world. May we rest. Amen. Blessed be. May it be so. Sunday is the day of rest. It's called the Sabbath. And I want to tell you a story of how this came to be. The story I'm going to tell comes from the Torah, Jewish scripture, or the Hebrew Bible as some call it. And it starts off the book of Genesis. And I'm a little rusty. It's been a while, so bear with me. But I think it begins once upon a... No, that's not it. Okay. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far... It's not it either, is it? No, I think that we're going to head down that track in a minute, Bob, but anyone else know how it begins? That's it, in the beginning. Thank you. In the beginning. I'm going to need a little help, so please be on your toes to assist me, would you? The Spirit of life in the beginning hovered over the formless, churning waters and said, let there be light. Thank you. And there was light. And also darkness, daytime and nighttime, the first day. In the light, the Creator witnessed the waters chaotic and roiling and sloshing. It felt great anticipation and tensing, and with a push, there was sky. And it separated out the waters of cosmic creation, and that was the second day. And on the third day, there was stuff coming up out of the waters, like, what? Firmament, yes, which would also be known as land. Okay, so there was land, and then there were some things growing on it that were plants, yes. What and all kinds of living plants, yes. Any particular plants? Trees were growing, yes, thank you. And any other, yes? We'll stick with some trees. Okay, so there was land and trees. A new world was starting to be born, and it was good. Now, on the fourth day, the goddess was laughing, giggling, but also in full labor. In fact, she was counting her contractions and realized that she needed to create time in order for this to continue. And so she birthed the sun and the moon and the stars and the seasons with a whole universal push. Out came the cycle of the year. And that was the fourth day. And it was getting really exciting. The next day, God thought there needs to be something to be fruitful and multiply and fill up the waters and the sky and eat the plants and the trees and sometimes eat each other. And those were things with gills. Fish, yes, and some sharks, yes. And then there were some things that had feathers, birds, yes. And any other particulars there? Because so far we have some trees and some waters and some firmament. We had some dinosaurs as well. Thank you, Bob, for filling in that detail. Yes, there was all of that, and it was good. Now, on the sixth day, the divine was getting exhausted. They had been in labor begetting creation for several days now. and there was still more to come. And on the 6th day, they gave one last amazing push, and out came what? Oh, you're going to have to shout a little louder than that. People, ants, yes, what else? Other things, living things on the earth. Come on, shout them out. You've seen a few of these. Yes, those and some of those, yes. Cockroaches were also there. Bob, you're on top of your game today. So we've got dinosaurs and we've got cockroaches, we've got trees, we've got some fish, many species, let's say. We have things with feathers and we have people. And everything was good. But after 6 days of labor bringing everything into being, that's hard work. But there needed to be one last thing for this new earthly babe to exist, and that was rest. Yes, play, and for those of you who can see Tom, rest. On the 7th day, the Spirit of life, the Creator, the Goddess, the God, the divine, they all rested, resting and witnessing, laughing in delight, playing and sharing in happiness of this new child, and they recognized it was all good. It's all good. And that's how this new child of the world realized and learned that rest is a part of the wonder and of the joy of creation. And that's the story of the 7th day, Sunday, and how it became Sabbath, the day of rest.
It's a tough act to follow there. It just makes me want to laugh. Okay, one more time, if you would join me as you are willing and able to rise. We're going to sing number 1062, All Around the Child. And this time I'm going to wait for Chris.
Please be seated.
I invite you now to a time of congregational contemplation, a time of questions and clarity, of conundrums and clearness, of a little bit of trivia and some transparency. And if we can turn on our Zoom to see our folks at home, let's do that now, if it's possible. But as we do that, here's an easy question for you all to ponder. What holiday is tomorrow? Labor Day. Excellent. Great start. Why do we have Labor Day? Rest. Yeah. It's a federal holiday. All right, let's put a pin in that one. We'll come back to it. A little more challenging, perhaps. What two federal holidays is Labor Day midway between? 4th of July. And Thanksgiving. Yes, thank you. Well done. No, you're getting it. We're getting there together. And here's a really hard one. What's the name of the person who suggested that we have a Labor Day? What? No, Jane was great. She's like bursted one out. Yeah. I don't think that's it, though. Matthew McGuire and Peter McGuire. Neither were related. And in fact, their families suggest they independently said they created Labor Day, but both worked for the labor movement and helped people organize for their rights. And that's why we have a Labor Day, to go back to that earlier somewhat unanswered question. Because we can thank the Labor Day for the 5-day work week, the establishment of a living wage, and laws preventing child labor so that children can be children, along with many other improvements in the conditions and rights of working people. Labor Day joins our secular American holidays both as a recognition of the need to rest after hard work. That's why we have it from the labor movement. But it also supports a particular religious ethic. What religious ethic does it represent? The Protestant work ethic, or the Puritan work ethic. Puritans and the Protestants are our religious forebears, and they believed that each person's duty in life was to labor hard, be thrifty, and then achieve success, all as signs of God's love and grace. Social thinker Max Weber thought that this ethic was what gave rise to capitalism. You see, the Puritans believed the world was inherently flawed. People naturally were sinful. And with their faith and through their labor, they worked to redeem it and themselves, and combined that with a bit of money-making, and you begin to get capitalism. But if you look deeply into their beliefs, you can see where we've inherited some of ours. Because we do believe that we need to work to make the world better. But we do not believe that it is inherently flawed or that we are sinful. Our faith teaches that the world creates good things like firmament and trees, like dinosaurs and cockroaches, like you and me. It's all good. We labor alongside the world and co-create it in wonderful and joyous ways. And we rest because it is part of the world as well. Think of that for a moment. Think of that. A Labor Day celebrated not as a day you have earned by diligence and toil in an economic system that dehumanizes people and degrades the earth, but as a day to pause and celebrate all of creation, resting in wonder and in joy as a part of an interdependent web of all that there is. Think of that. And may it be so because we choose for it to be so. Love in community. Love in community is what Interfaith Community Services is about, at least it is to me. And today joining us is Jay Deskins, Faith and Community Outreach Coordinator there. And Jay takes resting seriously. When I told him about today's theme, he earnestly directed me to read the work of Walter Brueggemann. The particular book is called Sabbath as Resistance. And there I found this quote: "The Sabbath is not simply the pause that refreshes, it is the pause that transforms." And not only did this help me in changing my perception of any day of rest, but it also helped me understand our friend at Interfaith Community Services, because I've witnessed how hard Jay works there at ICS. And ICS has been a partner of NVUU for several years and is our woven basket recipient this month. The basket outside in the Oasis room, if you wish to support them, put a little something in it. I've witnessed Jay's energy, and it's contagious for the work to transform lives here in Pima County, but more than that, he's serious about resting as part of transforming our world into someplace better for all of us. Jay, if you would.
Well, good morning. And thank you, Reverend Matthew, for that awesome introduction. That was a good one. I'm really, really good at resting. I rested really well last night, and I was thrilled when I woke up and remembered, oh, good, I don't have to get dressed today. But I did put on a fresh t-shirt for everybody today, so it didn't smell too bad. But my name is Jay, and I do get to serve as the Faith and Community Outreach Coordinator for Interfaith Community Services. We have been in the community since 1985. That's when 6 churches up here in the northwest part of town got together and decided that they could do more together when it comes to their helping out their neighbors in need by coming together and working together to help those people out. Now, I do have some prizes because I do like to throw things at people. So if you could, if there's anyone in this room that can guess what year did Mountain Vista become partners with ICS? What year? 1986? Nope, not then. 90, 87, 2002, 98? 92, who said 92? All right, so you get our first prize of a towel. I'll get this to you in a little bit. If you win today, you get a nice cooling towel, so that way you can feel nice and cool when you're out laboring in your yard. But in 1992, Mountain Vista UU became one of our newest faith community partners back then. And later on, I'll ask you another question to get to where we are. So I do have a few slides I want to go through this morning, just so that you all can hear a little bit about what ICS does. So on the next slide, you can see that ICS is here in our community to help people in need achieve healthy, stable, and independent lives. And we do a lot of that through our programming. We have many different program departments that we can help people out in, but we also do a lot of things for not only for people in need, but for people of faith who need things to do with their time, because it's not just good to sit on our hands if we have free time. It's good to rest, but also it's really good to help out. On the next slide, I do have another question. Do you all know how many folks ICS helped across all of our programs in 2021? 5,000? 12,000? 10? Go really up higher. Go really high. 20? Up really higher. Really. Even higher. How many? That's close enough. It was 52,000 people that we helped out here in Pima County in the year of 2021. And that's across all of our program departments that we have. Now, what we're mostly known for in town, on the next slide, you'll see that we are known for our emergency assistance programs. Through our emergency assistance programs, on the next slide, you'll see that we offer help for rental and mortgage assistance. We help people out with utilities and with car repairs. Now, you might ask why you help people with car repairs. Well, if the car is what's stopping them from getting to work, it's actually cheaper for ICS to help pay for that car repair than it would be for a month rent. So that's what we do. All right, on the next slide, you'll see that we also offer a food bank, which is just up the road about a mile from here at Shannon and Ina, where we have our Northwest offices, our brick and mortar food bank. And we're open throughout the week, and if you ever need food from ICS, you can go right up there during those hours. But also, if you're looking for something to get your hands dirty with and to help people out in need, you can do that as well. And then on the next slide, you'll see that our newest program is our mobile food bank. And one of the coolest things about this, and it kind of leads into the rest question that we're talking about today. A lot of people who come to our food bank before the pandemic, it was a walk-through service. And people would spend 3 or 4 hours just waiting in line inside, just sitting there, twiddling their thumbs, waiting for their turn. But now, thanks to our mobile food bank and all of our food distributions being a drive-through model or a walk-through if you don't have a car, people are spending a lot less time getting to us because we're coming to their neighborhood. They're spending a lot less time with us when they get to us, and they're also getting a lot more food. So we're actually providing a lot of rest for people because they're able to go home if they need rest, they can rest, or they can spend that time with their family, cleaning up, doing the things that they need to do and not spending time just looking for help. And on the next slide, just a quick question. Do you know how many pounds of food we gave out in 2021? What was that? 500,000? Go really, really high from that. 1 million? Go really, really high from that. Even higher than that. Even higher than 3. All right, it was 3.8 million was our... It was 3.8 million pounds of food. Now, we get our food through our partnerships with not only the Community Food Bank of Southern Arizona, but through our connection with our faith community partners who donate a lot of our food for us. And on the next slide, you'll see that we're also a SNAP outreach center. So if you or anyone you know needs to get signed up for food stamps, or SNAP is what it's called now, you can send them to ICS and we can get them some help. Then we have self-sufficiency programs, which are longer-term programs for people to get longer-term help. We have senior services for people who are trying to remain in their home even as they age. We do that through volunteer ride programs. You know, if a senior needs a ride to a doctor appointment, a bridge club, a haircut appointment, anything like that, we can help them out with that. And then we also have our community health outreach programs, and I think you all are getting signed up for one of those very soon. And so Dr. Tandela Kidd is going to come and talk to you all at some point soon about the class. Oh, it was Healthy Boundaries for Caretakers. No. Yeah, Healthy Boundaries for Caretakers. Yeah, so if you or someone you know is a caretaker for an aging parent or for someone a full-time caregiver in your house, we have a class that's going to be here that you all can take to help learn more about that. And we can skip over the next slide as well, because I just kind of went over that as well. But I have one last question. How many faith community partners does ICS partner with in Pima County? 100? How many? It's 120, but I'm going to give it to you, Tom. ICS partners with 120 diverse faith communities here in Pima County. And when I talk to people about who we partner with, I say we run the gamut of what faith is here in town. We have Mormons and Muslims, we have Unitarians, and we have Catholics. We have Muslims, we have Native American spiritualists. We truly partner with anyone who sees value in the shared work that we do. And where all of our faiths intersect, where every single one of those faiths intersect, is that in helping out our neighbors in need when they need it. And so that's where these 120 faith community partners, where we really truly come together and we work together to help out our neighbors in need. And so we can't do this without your financial support, your volunteer support, your food donation support. But you all also provide people with rest when you support ICS. A lot of people stay up late at night worrying about their bills. They don't sleep because of the stress that's involved with that. They don't sleep well at night because they don't have a job and they don't know where their next meal is going to come from. But when they come to ICS, they feel a sigh of relief. They feel a storm being calmed for them. And so you all really do. I do believe that rest is a thing of privilege in our society, and and it's our job as people of faith, I believe, to undo those privileged walls to help people get to that rest that they so well deserve. Because tomorrow's Labor Day, and I'm not working, but there is a lot of laborers out there tomorrow who are going to be working, and so it is a thing of privilege for us to experience. And so, thank you for participating in ICS and providing rest for people and providing food and everything else that we do. Thanks, y'all. I invite you now to a time of meditation on your toes. With words inspired by the Reverend Christine Robinson, I invite you into a space of quiet and peace to ground yourself by noticing your contact with chair and floor, by becoming aware of your breathing. And I invite you to consider your toes, because they've been through a lot, those toes. They have strength and beauty, and some may have scars. And I invite you to remember that it is with your toes that the world has been transformed. And as you feel comfortable, go ahead and wiggle them. These toes have known wonder and joy. They may have squished through cool mud, splashed through chilled water, or been toasted on hot sidewalks. They may have run through grass or been housed in shoes while at play. These toes have helped you to balance through your days of labor, but now they rest and feel patience and refreshment.
and hear among this people a gentle love. They will do more, carrying you forward to hard work and to rest and to play and to dance and to move through creation. But right now, as you feel comfortable, just wiggle them. Just wiggle your toes. These toes are good. Your toes, these toes are the toes of all creation. Your toes are a great mystery of flesh and intention, a great potential of embodied love. And so let's just wiggle them in wonder and in joy. A few weeks ago, one of our youngest guests joined us on Sunday morning wanting to play hard and question deeply. As our greeters welcomed the family for the first time, helping them, two brothers and their mother, get name tags and get oriented to Mountain Vista, one of the boys turned to me and enthusiastically asked, "Can I play with your slide outdoors?" And I could not help but respond in kind, "Absolutely." After the service, I went to our nest, our space for religious education for our youngest, to ask Stacy and Tom how that playing went. Tom was helping out, volunteering with that day. And if you're curious about how to volunteer with Stacy, you can ask her after the service. And Stacy described a full-on engagement of our play structure, sliding and running and jumping and hanging from the rafters. And she told me that same child, upon arriving in that nest, asked her a different question, but an equally enthusiastic one. "Can I learn about God here?" Absolutely. We know we need a day of rest. There are harmful systems in the world that run us ragged. And we can thank the labor movement for ensuring rest within these systems. This rest is life-sustaining. It is, as Jay said, it is a privilege, and we need to break down those walls. But we are also aware, as people of faith, that we need a day of rest, a Sabbath, because that's how creation works. To paraphrase Walter Brueggemann, the divine rest on the seventh day of creation has made it clear that God is not a workaholic, that God is not anxious about the full function of creation, that the well-being of creation does not depend on endless work. Rest is part and parcel of the miracle of the world. It is life-giving, and it is transforming if we use our rest to discover new life-giving systems together. You see, our Unitarian Universalist faith, it teaches us to wonder with our senses, attentive and aware, and to be joyful with our hands and our bodies, often in action. but always, always at rest. Our faith teaches us wonder and joy. It teaches us to question. And so we have crafted a place, and we have gathered as a people so that we can take action, yes, but also so that we can join in rest and we can question. And so on this day of rest, Sabbath, or tomorrow, or any day that you rest from toil, raise questions. Why is rest a privilege? What can I do? What can we do? Who are we? And in wonder and joy at all that there is, all of creation, I invite you now to just speak your questions out loud. Speak them into this space that we have created for all of these people to hear. What are your questions that you need answered? There are questions here among us that have been named, and there are so many questions in your hearts. Rainer Maria Rilke, in a letter to a young poet, wrote, "Be patient toward all that is unsolved in your heart, and try to love the questions themselves. Like locked rooms and books that are now written in a very foreign language. Do not seek the answers which cannot be given to you, because you would not be able to live them." And that is the point, to live everything. Live the questions now, the questions that have been named, the questions still remaining in your heart, and perhaps then gradually, without noticing it, you'll live into that distant day and into the answer. May we rest in questions, and may we live our answers together in all the days that come. Our closing sacred song, "In Sweet Fields of Autumn," is all about the seasons in New England. And so, Chris, I wonder, what if we had songs and stories, poetry and imagery that reflected where we live here in Sonoran Desert?
Well, that would be nice, because sometimes flipping open the hymnal and looking around through all the lovely hymns about autumn and winter and snow flying is a little bit like going into the Target and seeing the winter coats while it's still 100 degrees outside. But actually, you're very much in luck, because the Baja Four, which produced those lovely, wonderful worship services over the last several years and kept me and several other people employed over the course of the pandemic and the worst of the lockdowns, of which I am very grateful for, and several other people are very grateful for as well. That's our new project. We are working on I don't know what to call it, a prayer book, a worship resource, some kind of a resource for people who want to deal in spiritual matters, but yet somehow or another, we want them to reflect where we live, where the leaves are not going to change here, if for several months yet, if frankly ever. And to borrow Fitz's joke, we only know it's fall because the license plates start to change color. But if you watch through all of the things to come, you'll find a lot of people are starting to write poems and hymn texts and new pieces of music and new works of art and new pieces that actually reflect what the liturgical year looks like when you live in a place that doesn't adhere to the traditional New England style of seasons. In fact, I think someone has written a lovely new set of words to this tune.
Lovely may be going too far.
I think
I've
they're
written
lovely.
some words, and we will be trying them out this morning. And instead of in sweet fields of autumn, we will be singing in Sonoran fields of autumn. And I invite you all to rise as you are willing and able and join your voices together.
And it should be a lovely, easy, familiar tune, and the words work very well. So sing with us, please.
Please be seated. It is a work in progress.
Okay. As our time together comes closer to an end this week, I want to invite you to join me in a call and response. Now, you can stay seated, but as we go through this together, your response will appear on the slides for you. And I would like to invite you to build with me in energy and momentum, as you are willing and able, of course, as we prepare to restore our energy after this time of rest and return to the activation of whatever comes next. This piece is written by Amanda Udis Kessler, entitled "We Labor in Love." On Labor Day, we honor our work, physical and mental, paid and unpaid, joyous and heartbreaking. Our work can build our society, provide our material needs, and give our life meaning. Our work can damage our society and the planet, fail to sustain our material needs, and be meaningless. Our work can heal the world, help us understand who we are, and keep us safe. Our work can harm the world, demean us, and expose us to danger. We join together to create work that is safe Our work can fill our days with accomplishments and our lives with stories. Our work can dissatisfy and alienate us. We may not be able to find enough work or any work. We join together to create work that blesses us, all people, and the planet. This Labor Day and all Labor Days to come, may our work and all work serve humanity and all living beings. So now, while your spiritual blood is pumping, I'd like to invite Elizabeth Van Horn up for an important request.
Y'all rested? You all love something? Are you ready to work and work together? I have a job for you. Come on up here. Yeah. I'm being signaled to come up here and ask that question. Are you ready to work for things that you love together in community? Great. You may have seen me in the Oasis Room or Saturday mornings out on the patio welcoming the community to sign this referendum. The referendum has to do with school funding. It is a deep risk, and we have 1 week more to collect signatures, so this referendum is on the ballot and the public can decide what happens next. I've taught in public schools. My kids have attended public schools. I am grateful that they have made friends from all over the world, all religions, all races, and they've also acquired great critical thinking skills, good background in history and in science. I believe that's fundamental if you're going to live and work in a democracy. Do you agree? Are you rested enough to get to work yet a little bit more? This is our last week. I know many of you have signed, but I have many, many petitions that would be happy to have 2, 3, 4 signatures on them, that if you can take them into your neighborhood, to your public schools. I met a woman yesterday who got 9 full petitions by hanging out at her local elementary school in the morning when kids were brought to be dropped off. So with some creativity and some community effort, I'm hoping we can really bring home every signature we need to get this on the ballot. I thank you with a full heart for all that you're going to be able to do. I'll be in the Oasis Room. Thank you.
Just a quick reminder, don't forget that our woven and wooden bowls will be out by the doors for your donation. Thank you again, Jay, for being here with us today. To extinguish our chalice, I'm going to share with you a piece called Daring Vision by Maureen Killoran. We extinguish this chalice flame, daring to carry forward the vision of this free faith, that freedom, reason, and justice will one day prevail in this nation and across the earth.